So another video from the White Shorts Club. You got Myth, you got Kaichou.
Hey guys.
We got another little bit of a special show match. When Assault Lily Vol.2 first came out, Kaichou and I wanted to really experiment with the set a little bit, so we decided to play a bit of a best of five show match using a format that we like to call the specialist format. Just to explain a little bit, in short, it's a best of five. Whoever wins 3 out of 5 of the games is the winner. We brought 3 decks from Assault Lily Assault Lily. If you win with one of the decks, you can't use it for the rest of the match. So you have to win one game with each deck in order to be the winner. Between games, the loser is allowed to switch their decks freely. So if they lose with a deck, they could switch to a different deck if they're not feeling it. And then a key rule that makes specialist format unique is that we had to use different climax combos. The specifics of it is that you can use up to 4 copies of any climax with the same name in only one of your decks. So, for example, if Kaichou played with the Yuja Gold Bar in one of his decks, but he only plays like 2 copies, he can't play the other 2 copies of that climax in any of his other 2 decks. Kaichou, just trying to get a little bit of diversity, trying to show people that there's more than one solid build in Assault Lily right now.
Yeah, and I think especially in Assault Lily, it was super easy to split your decks up because you had so many good cards, and you can just split those evenly up between all your 3 decks.
Yep. A couple of the other smaller rules that don't necessarily apply to our show matching questions was that the decks could be in mixed languages, but you had to respect the ban list in question. So had there been an English deck and a Japanese deck, the Japanese deck would have had to respect the JP ban list, and then the English deck would have had to respect the English ban list. I mean, it's not like Assault Lily Volume 2 is going to come out in English, am I right, Kaich?
Survey where?
Surveyware. And then one last thing that we decided to make to increase the diversity was to defer the decks by at least 16 cards, including the climaxes. Make it so that you weren't just, coming up with these cookie cutter good stuff deck type templates, Kaichou. Like, there's a lot of good cards in Assault Lily, and it might get a little bit tiresome if we have the same, like, say, 40 cards being used and the only thing changing was the climax combos, right?
Yep.
But, yep, so that's what we decided to go with. This is the intro video so that you guys can learn what the specialist format is. Obviously, if you guys have any questions about it, you guys should go ahead and ask them in the comments, and we'll see what we can do to answer them. But after this, there will be either a playlist or you can start clicking to one of the games in the show match. So we'll go ahead and explain a little bit of what the decks we brought. So the first deck that we both brought was kind of a gold bar based deck. So Kaichou was focused around the double combo Yuja Shenlin with in set 2 along with the Tazusa level 3 Mocha combo. But he also included the pants, which was a pretty cool touch. You want to talk a little bit about what you were thinking when you were building that deck, Kaichou?
Yeah, so for this deck, I wanted to use the Shenlin and the Yuja combo because that combo is pretty cool. A lot of people for this deck they just play the 8-bar build where they play the set 1 Yuja that snipes a low 0. And with this one, so you just like basically play Denial Eastward, snipe your opponent's whole board. The one problem with that is that Yuja doesn't give you cards that you want. Yes, you can play with the Brainstorm and like maybe top check a card you want, but then this Yuja top end requires too many pieces, which is kind of unfortunate. So I decided to play with the Pants combo because in theory, the Pants combo it gives you a double hand filter, or it gives you hand filter to a plus, and then it also, since you're playing the change package, you're playing a higher number of 2s and 3s, which help you increase your chance of getting the combo pieces you need. So that was the idea. And then also since Yuja top end doesn't actually kill, she just does like a Nexo combo. I opted for playing Tazusa top end, which is mostly yourself, and then you can shuffle 2 back, so a little bit of like crone action and extra damage, or like extra decompression for your opponent so they can die at the end.
Yep. A lot of really interesting stuff came out with Set 2 to help support the gold bar as well. Particularly their options like the back row support Yujias that lets your center character top check, or the 1-0 Yuja that gives all your characters climax filter when you trigger the gold bar. So a lot of really
Yeah,
cool interactions to help you with uh, maintaining what's in your deck and what your triggers are looking like. Um, I went for a bit of a really weird strategy. So I went with the Denali Sports strategy, like Kaichou was talking about, using the Yuja set 1 combo and also the set 3 Shenlin Yuja double combo. I also wanted to try using standby in this list, so I decided to add in 2 standbys. It was kind of to just give me this off chance to add addition to cheat out pieces, cheat out extra utility that I might not have necessarily had. There were a lot of interesting standby targets for sure that could have made like an 8 standby build really interesting as well. But I really wanted to play around the novelty of potentially setting up a Shenlin at level 1 and then cheating out the level 3 a little early, but
yeah, similar to Storm Hololive, right? Get that cheese.
it's similar cheese, except it's a little more work to do it
Yeah, Sora
comparatively.
is a 1 card combo. Well, like you just like a 3 card combo. It's kind of
Yeah.
unfortunate.
One bright side of doing that is that it does fulfill a similar thing to what Kaichou's deck does, where because I'm playing a lot more level 2s and level 3s, I am gonna hit more on the Yuja combo, whereas with Kaichou, with the higher top end count, he's able to get more of his combo pieces through the Yu combo. So it's kind of a similar idea, but different ways of putting it to effect. So it was a pretty interesting setup for that. Um, Moving on, we got next up. Kaichou was rocking with the tried and true, the Book Gate deck.
Pretty standard, as you know from first set. Want
Uh,
to show your deck real quick so then see a
yeah.
little bit comparison?
So, couple of differences comparatively. So he tried to do the vanilla stuff. I tried to play a little bit more around double level 1, double level 3, kind of a extended versatility style with the UU and the Riri level 1s. That way I could kind of just auto adjust what I wanted to do in the mid game, uh, allowing me to set up like turns where I could be really versatile. Uh, just because I don't have pants pieces doesn't mean that the pants that I may have in my hand is dead, right? I could either go into a climax swap and then slam Ruri. I could just like try and add a level of like unconventional, like unexpected tools to the pocket, basically, compared
Yeah,
to.
so uh your deck focused more on like the new stuff, right? Whereas my deck was just a lot of old stuff and we threw in some new cards. Basically the difference.
Yep. I think part of another cool thing that we got to do was for you with some of the newer cards that came out. Um, it adds a lot more utility. So then the consistency of the Yuri combo gets really like a spotlight because you're able to just systematically pick whatever you need and be able to get a lot more mileage through the consistency. You're able to just hit confirm every single card and you win through that style, like
Yeah, so the deck idea, pretty much, if you look at this deck, it's pretty much the same idea. Since the level 1 Tazusa is a stock charger similar to the Shenlin, the TD.
yep.
I just swapped out Climax Swap with the new one, which is a Spamble Climax Swap, quote unquote. It's an Axe Climax Swap you can do every turn. I underrated this card when it first came out, but after playing with it, it's kind of a good card. Being able to climb a swap on demand is so much better than having to like play climb a swap and then like it dying and then you grabbing it back, which is like more resources to climb a swap, which is
Yep.
something to take for granted.
Another thing that I noticed that you played with is you played with the new Search Brainstormer because the tattoo also can grant on reverse blind stock, so you could generate additional stock so that you can accelerate growth for the eventual Riri UU finisher. You can do if you're choosing not to brainstorm. It's like you're in a good deck state. I may as well go get additional resources while I'm here.
Yeah, it's also because we didn't have to play the Shenlin that taps the blind stock now, so we had an extra back row, which made the brainstorm even better to tap like for the blind stock, like you said.
Yep. Uh, yeah, it's kind of a similar story, right? Where my deck is a little bit more focused on the new stuff, so being able to play additional targets that could be used alongside Riri. So a couple of the spotlight ones in particular are the 2-1 Lunatic Transfer UU. That card is absolutely terrifying because being a 13/5 hexproof two soul beater that can come down potentially at level 1 and memory kick the opponent is it's not something that opponents are going to be able to answer immediately, especially because it's hexproof. Like, super scary, and it dies at the end of the turn, so the opponent doesn't even get a chance to address it. Right? It's like you have to deal with it, and that's all you got.
Yeah, so this is similar to the first set 1/1 Regi anti-change memory kick bomber. That one has like the cheese memory effect where you flip opponent's memory face down for the turn, but then she herself goes to memory on reverse while sending the opponent's card to memory. That card is only useful to anti-change, right? But this UU is always going to be able to answer cards because she's on play, gain the power, so she doesn't have to meet a condition except from just having to play on board.
Yep. uh, and then to close out a little bit here, we both kind of copped out a little bit and went with the pants top end variation. So for me, I went with a bit more of a book and pants because the support in Assault Lily 2, the 1-0, does help you when you trigger both climaxes. So I wanted to get the maximum mileage out of that utility. Whereas with Kaichou, you have the set 2 gate with the set 2 pants, which is a more all in on the new stuff and a lot more really cool simplicity, real consistency playstyle.
Yeah, basically, Riri salvage combo is like the best you can get to on deck salvage. It's like on play salvage with a climax that's like super good. Gives our cards power, your other character's power. So basically, you can grab whatever you want at any time. She is 5k, kind of defendable. Since you have the Fumi that gives act 15, so you can possibly bring her up to 6/5 and then counter with 2k, so a5, which is like you can say one lane. It's not the worst thing to combo get next turn. Pan's finisher is, I think, pretty good overall. It's just that blue is just a better color than yellow, which is why I opted to play for blue. Yellow, even though yellow is like, it might be the better effect in the top end, might be better combo.
Yeah, that's actually something that going into this, I didn't think neither of us were gonna play around the new yellow packages. I wanted to know like what you were thinking about yellow, like why you chose not to play it, basically. Like,
Yeah, honestly, I wanted to play yellow, but I also wanted to play the blue top end because choosing decks, I was for sure always gonna play bar because I just wanted to try out see how it works and then have the consistent deck. I guess yellow is just since yellow didn't exist in first set, right? So then all your yellow cards come from the second set, which means if you want to play yellow, you have to play the level 1 choice combo just so you can have like enough color splash to work with that. So I chose the blue because it's just like super good. I think I also want to play with the new early play.
okay, yeah. So part of what I was thinking about when I was playing with, when I was planning was that I wanted to play yellow with standby at one point because they had so many characters with soul triggers. So then choice and standby kind of work together in a way, but I kind of got to a point where I was like really racking my brain with like, okay, I have so many things that I have to think about when designing the deck, and it kind of got to a point where I was like, okay, so I could either go with simple brain like gold bars and pray that I trigger a standby, or I need to kind of figure out what I want to do with choice standby, or if I even wanted to put standbys in at all. And choice was it has a lot of really cool playmaking potential. There's a lot of cool things that you can do with that deck, but at the time I was just like, I wanted to try something simple before going on to think about the more complex stuff.
Yeah, I think one thing also is that I like the early play package he had with the blue combo, where it's like kind of like the Chica Yo with the Rico back row from Sunshine, kind of similar thing. One brings out the other, and that was really cool. Be able to play or finish it too.
Yeah, like that. The back row, or the, I guess you can consider it kind of an Exodia composition where you're able to bring out 4 level 3s is was a really enticing one as well. Like just the novelty of knowing that you would get it was 2 blind stocks, so then it costs six
Yeah, it's only
stock.
5 or yeah 6 stock, because then you play the 3/2 that blind stocks everyone else. So then you play the Chica, we call it, that summons your combo, and when your combo comes up, she blind stocks one. So essentially, you got 2 level 3s for 2 stock. So then that's 4 stock,
Yep,
and
and
then you play
then
the your early play. That's also gets blind stock, so that's a 1 stock early play. It's actually 5 stock.
yeah, it's absolutely terrifying. Like when it all comes together. So like,
Yeah, the synergy is pretty good, and they are pretty big because you have a front 2K, and they also gain power.
yep.
So
Uh,
yep,
but yeah, so like we said, this is just the intro video. Hopefully, you guys will go ahead and check out the Showmatch videos. We'll be providing a bit of, I wouldn't say post game, but more like us looking at the game from a observer perspective to show you kind of the cool stuff that we got to see when we were playing the game. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that type of content. So
yeah, we'll
stay
have the
tuned.
link to the first show in the description, right?
Yep.
Just to make it simple. Yeah,
So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy, and we'll see you guys for the first show match.
bye.